In my little video series, I want you to feel what a real person I am as a financial advisor, even though I work remotely. Why not use today's tools like video and audio in order to connect with you and help you avoid loss and maximize growth in that order? Because singles wins ball games, not home run swingers, grand slam swingers. They're also the strikeout kings. But singles wins ball games. And that's what I help people do. If you can guarantee your money against loss, then you have a much better chance of outdistancing those who have taken more risk or gone on wild goose chases. The classic example is Aesop's fable of the tortoise and the hare. If you can relate to the outcome for the tortoise, then you'll enjoy working with me. I'm Paul Renfroe, and SuperSafeSavings.com as well as CrossYourLine.com. Now, in the background, there are some things that tell you a little bit about me. The painting over this shoulder is done by a mother of one of my clients when she was 100 years old. Extremely skillful, and it illustrates the legacy that I have received because I built my financial business and my advice routine after talking to older people who were retired and finding out what they liked and what they didn't like. And I noticed there was a tremendous difference between the things they liked and what the financial companies said people should do. And I thought, why is there such a difference? In fact, I found an overlap. Everything the financial companies said that people should do, the older people were sorry they did. And I thought, why is that? What's going on? And I realized we live in a capitalist society, but you never received training on how to deal as a capitalist with financial companies. You just hand over your money and you hope it turns out okay. But that's not really working to your benefit. Here's why. Because the financial companies have hundreds of years serving millions of people, and they are prioritizing the avoidance of risk. And to do that, they promise you the hope of gain. Well, what if you could adopt their method? What if you could reduce your risk and then maximize your growth? And that's how the financial companies do. Well, when I realized that, the financial companies began to regard me as a pariah because I was willing to say things that revealed their secrets and brought them shame and revealed how they were capitalistically taking advantage of you and me and people like us. And so it's important to stay ahead of the game. After all, it's America. It's a free country and a capitalist country. But the game's a little rigged if all the financial advisors are trained by the financial companies. It's like the wolf watching the chicken coop. And then you're deprived of education on how to handle your money like a capitalist. Have you ever had a class on capitalism? You have to be really ornery and independent-minded to get your own books about how to avoid risk and maximize growth. So that's how I believe I can help you. I can help you become more capitalistic in the management of your money, where, number one, you pass on your risk to somebody else. And that way you don't have any loss. And the financial companies are more than capable to absorb your risk. Why should we let them pass their risk off on you? And then the second thing is that you can maximize growth, because avoiding all risk doesn't mean you have to settle for peanuts. And so I've done real well, and I've helped a lot of people do really well and live happily for the balance of their lives with plenty of money, plenty of income, and no worry. Because when you eliminate risk, you eliminate worry. Now, over this shoulder, when I grew up, the Bible was still in the schools, and hopefully we can return to those days, because the Bible is a very important element of moral education. And American capitalism breaks down if moral and virtuous people don't take part, just like our democratic republic breaks down. And so it's very important for us to manifest Bible values in our lives, and that includes the advice I give to people about handling money, and it includes what you do with your money as a steward of what God has given you. Now that over there, over this shoulder, is the Lord's Prayer, which I did in calligraphy in the 5th grade. Now that is a manifestation of a bygone day. But the Lord's Prayer is just as current as ever. Give us this day our daily bread. Now that doesn't mean that we don't save for the future, but we don't rely upon our own judgment. What does it say in Proverbs 3? Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your path straight. Well, that doesn't mean that because I'm a Christian my financial advice is always right, and it doesn't mean that it's always right for everybody. So you and I can talk and dialogue even though we're working remotely and digitally. I encourage you to come to one of my 5-spot webinars to really share each other's thoughts, and not just all me talking like in this video, but it's real people relating about real money issues. But I found that kind of conversation is really, really helpful to people. One of the things that the devil does is keep us all isolated and locked inside and dependent upon broadcast news, which is of questionable quality and motivation. And so if we communicate and interact with other people, particularly about how to be safe and how to avoid risk and maximize growth, which are my priorities, then what you'll find is that you'll be all the richer, and not only in money, but also in happiness, wisdom, and interaction with other people. It's really a great way to live. So I hope you'll take advantage of one of the 5-spot webinars. And so, as I've told you, these high interest accounts are fully guaranteed, and not only that, insured by government agencies. Don't neglect that. In fact, the strongest government agencies. And I'll explain that if you go on the website, SuperSafeSavings.com. Couple of exciting things you'll find there. SuperSafeSavings.com. Number one is you can enroll to receive the high interest income update, which I produce when there's major rate changes. And if you've got a CD coming up or an annuity coming up or some money you expect to receive and you want to see what kind of interest rate you could get on it without any risk of loss, then that high interest income update will be very valuable for you. And then another resource that's there are my 5-spot webinars so that you can see what webinars are available and what we'll be covering. So in the month of December 2024, for instance, we're covering Account Secrets Revealed. That'll be interesting because I really enjoy revealing the secrets of the financial institution. In fact, on my website it says, be like Toto and pull back the curtain on the deceptive wizard. And so any person over 40 who's watched The Wizard of Oz will recognize that little image. Another thing that's really good on my website is my blog. And in December 2024, my blog is titled The Disaster of the In-Laws. So if you really enjoy solving a crime, then you'll see about 12 on that one related to their financial inheritance. Another resource on the website are downloadable calculators. You can see how much it's costing you to use a low-interest account at the bank if you falsely believe that the bank is the safest account around. It certainly is not, and you can learn more about that. And there's other calculators as well. Now, I'm Paul Renfroe. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm trying to adapt to these new methods of communication, particularly since post-COVID, it's much more common to work remote. And this saves you from having to get dressed and hop in your car and drive however many miles for us to visit. And it also enables you to pass the website along in order to help your friends who might be shut-ins or who might be a little distrustful of people that they've met in the past in the financial business. And that's not to knock other people in the financial business, but just remember, all of the financial advisors and all the insurance agents and all the stockbrokers were trained by the financial companies. This is the wolf watching the chicken coop, and it's your money that's in that chicken coop. And so if you want somebody who's on your side, somebody who's in the chicken coop with you and saying, let's defend against these wolves, that would be Paul Renfroe. So be sure to visit SuperSafeSavings.com. Or you can go to my broader website, crossyourline.com. And there you'll find I have a number of services, crossyourline.com. For one thing, there's a self-employment tax credit that's available to people who were self-employed in 2021. If that describes you, be sure to click on that button. Another button you'll find there, Business Process Automation Service, for employers of multiple people who want to streamline processes that are currently done by hand. I also have a benefits program that lowers employers' cost by 30% while providing a far, far better retirement outcome and disability outcome for current employees. Another thing that you'll find there is that I have estate plan documents. I work with lawyers who have provided an estate plan service where online, without any cost, you can update your will and trust and power of attorney and your health care and your living will anytime for the rest of your life at no cost. And the initial cost to gain that lifetime access is less than half of what lawyers charge for the same services. And not only that, because it's online, you can access it from anywhere if you happen to be traveling or, God forbid, end up in an emergency room while you're traveling. All right, so those are some of the services, crossyourline.com. And then lastly, you can gather from my comments and my concerns for honesty and integrity that I am a Christian. And it's important for you to know that I'm more concerned about Judgment Day than payday. I don't need your money to make my living because I have the promise of God. What did Jesus say? Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. And I have proven that over my 30 years in the financial business and over my 68 years of life, my 45 years of being married, and my 31 years of raising children. I've proven that. My first career was as a missionary and training college students to be missionaries. And after that, I came into the business world and the financial world. And so I hope that you will check out SuperSafeSavings.com and check out CrossYourLine.com. You can learn more about me there. Now, you may not be a Christian, but I know that you value integrity and honesty. And if you know that somebody's more concerned about Judgment Day than payday, you might feel a little safer because the Lord knows we've all sent enough embarrassment ahead to Judgment Day, haven't we? Because every secret will be revealed, and nothing that is hidden will remain hidden, but will be shouted from the housetops. Well, I don't want any more embarrassment than I've already sent, and I know you don't either. And so that's one of the reasons I conduct my financial business with the fear of God. And that last button at crossyourline.com relates to my Christian testimony. My wife, Diane, and I have a very powerful ministry as authors, speakers, pulpit fill, and providing other encouragements to people. And the name of that ministry is Paradigm Lighthouse. ParadigmLighthouse.com is that website. I've written 8 books. I write mostly about the unseen realm and about our existence as living spirits by faith in Jesus Christ. And the other thing that's important is to have a community around you. And so not only are my wife and I ordained ministers, we also have people who have the freedom to speak to us if we go astray. And these kind of friendships are very important. And so why am I telling you these things? Because we may never meet. Because I want to give you my example because it's useful to you as well. But I also want to reassure you because if you do want to trust somebody to be a financial resource for you, then you'll want to know that they believe in righteousness, honesty, integrity, and that you can trust them to be more afraid of God than they are afraid of poverty. Those kind of issues are very valuable when you're picking somebody to work with in the money area. Well, I hope my little video is very explanatory to you. I've recorded a series of little videos that have scenes from my daily life and the area where I live, as well as people I know. And so hopefully you'll feel that I'm a real person. And even though I'm remote and, of course, happy to visit with people who are clients and take care of people and do other things like that, you may not want to, and that's okay. Working with a remote person is very common these days. And the purpose of these videos is to help you become comfortable working with me. I hope you will. SuperSafeSavings.com, CrossYourLine.com, and then if you're interested in Christian books about the unseen world, you can go to ParadigmLighthouse.com or find my books on Amazon by searching Paul Renfroe.